David held the flashlight like it was a sword, stabbing the beam into the darkness beyond the mansion's front door. "This is it?" Tiffany asked, wrinkling her nose. "It smells like mold and regret." Michelle peered past him. "It's just old wood and stories? What'd you expect, a welcome mat?" The four of them, David, Michelle, Tiffany, and Ryan, were just college kids. No ghost hunters, no survivalists, just bored, curious students who heard about the abandoned estate at the edge of Hollow Pines. No one owned it. No one dared buy it. The stories made sure of that. Ryan reached for the heavy door and pushed it open with a low creak that echoed like a groan. "Let's just peek around, in and out. One cool photo for my story, and we bounce." They stepped into the entryway. Dust particles floated like static in the air, disturbed only by their breath and the creaking floor beneath their sneakers. And then, crack, the floor vanished. All four screamed as they plummeted downward in a sudden, breath-snatching drop. Wooden boards snapped around them like angry teeth. The impact came with a dull thud, muffled by old rotting carpet. "Shit, what the hell?" David groaned, rolling to his side. They were in some kind of basement room. Stone walls, old light fixtures, peeling wallpaper, and no windows. It smelled like mildew and something metallic. Michelle stood, brushing dust off her jeans. "Is everyone okay?" "I think I landed on a rib," Ryan muttered, groaning. David spotted a thick wooden door on one side. "Hold up, there's a way out." He moved toward it, his hand barely grazing the handle when, snap, a hidden mechanism activated. A quick hiss, a faint puff, then nothing. A few seconds passed. David blinked, staggered, coughed hard. "Shit, it burned, my lungs. I feel like I just inhaled wasp spray." Everyone froze. "Was that a trap?" Tiffany asked. They looked at each other. No one had answers, just wide eyes and shallow breathing. Ryan picked up a broken chair leg like a weapon. "Okay, so we're dealing with booby traps now. That's cool. That's fine. What the actual hell is this place?" Michelle tried the door. It opened this time, revealing a hallway barely lit by flickering overhead bulbs. They stepped in cautiously. The walls were stained, chipped paint, water damage in the floor. The floor was a trail of decay. Dead insects, desiccated rats, long abandoned trash, and then further down something worse. Bones. Clean, dry, and human. Dozens of them, maybe more. "What the f?" Michelle whispered. Skulls, ribs, femurs, some with rusted chains still clinging to them. They were scattered in corners, piled in alcoves. "No way this is just some old mansion," David said, stepping back. "I think we're in a whorehouse," Tiffany muttered. Ryan turned. "What?" Tiffany pointed at the wall. Faded, peeling wallpaper revealed a painted sign underneath. Sherry Maison, a brothel, long abandoned, long forgotten, and riddled with death. The silence stretched. Then Michelle said the thing they were all thinking. "We're not alone down here. Someone built this for a reason." Chapter 2, The Hallway Test. David backed away from the gas-scorched door, hands still clutching his chest. "Fuck this. I'm not breathing that shit again." Michelle reached for him, steadying his shoulder. "It's gone now. You're okay. We're okay. We'll get out of here quick, all right?" David didn't respond. He was staring at the skeletal remains slumped near the corner. He knelt down and yanked a femur free from the rib cage like it was a wrench off a shelf. "What are you doing?" Tiffany asked, stepping back. David held up the bone. "Running a test." He hurled it at the next door down the corridor. A hiss, a burst, and a sudden cloud of acidic gas erupted from a hidden nozzle. The femur clattered to the floor, blackened, smoking, as if it had just been pulled from a bonfire. "Look at that shit," David growled. "That's what just happened. That's what I breathed in." Ryan let out a low whistle. They rigged the whole hallway. Michelle shook her head in disbelief. "Who the hell does this?" "No one we want to meet," Ryan muttered. So they adapted. David tossed another bone ahead. Another trap sprung. Then Tiffany. Another door, another hiss. Room by room, they advanced. Each time they cleared one, they pushed the door open cautiously with whatever they could find. Planks, pipes, pieces of wood. The rooms were all the same. Rotting wallpaper, broken furniture, dust thick as snowdrift, and skeletons in forgotten poses. Until the last one. A faint glow leaked out from underneath the wall at the end of the hall. It wasn't electrical. It was warmer, flickering. "Wait," Tiffany whispered. "Ryan, look." She pointed to a seam in the wall, a barely there gap, a secret passage. "Help me." Together, she and Ryan pushed. The hidden panel creaked open, revealing a dark passage chiseled out of stone, barely wide enough to fit a grown man. Ryan gripped the broken chair leg tighter. "I got this." "Be careful," Michelle warned. He nodded once, stepped into the darkness, and vanished behind the wall. The air in the tunnel grew thicker with every step. The stone under his feet was damp, coated in something sticky he didn't want to identify. The passage bent downward, spiraling into the belly of the earth, until finally it opened. A laboratory. Cracked tile floor, metal tables. Shelves lined with chemical flasks, some boiling slowly. Colored vapors curled into the air like ghosts. In the center, a man in a yellow hazmat suit, helmet still on, was lying across a rust-stained cot, unmoving. Not dead, but breathing, slow and steady. And to the side, 3 people. 2 men and 1 woman. They were bound to upright racks, medieval in shape, steel and straps. But they weren't struggling, they weren't even resisting. Their heads hung low, their skin pale, their eyes half-lidded like they were dreaming of death. Ryan's legs trembled. One of them stirred, a man, his eyes fluttered open and fixed on Ryan. "Please," he whispered, throat raw. "Help me, please." Ryan couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't think. He turned and silently slipped out the way he came, sliding the hatch shut behind him and collapsing against the wall outside. His breath came in ragged pulls as if the weight of what he saw had dragged him halfway to hell. He slumped down the wall, hands shaking. "They're down there," he said, voice thin. "There's a lab. There's a guy in a suit sleeping, but there's more. There's people, alive, tied up, but not alive." The group stared at him. "What the fuck do you mean not alive?" David asked. Ryan just shook his head. "I don't know, but they were whispering for help." Chapter 3, The Decision. The hatch was sealed, but the tension bled through the walls like a slow leak. "He was sleeping?" Michelle asked. "Just laying there while those people were strapped down?" Ryan nodded. "Didn't even twitch." "That's not right," David muttered. "Why sleep there? What is he even doing down there?" Tiffany's eyes narrowed. She sniffed the air, head tilting slightly. "I know this smell," she said. "It's sharp, sweet, like hospital-grade nail polish remover." Ryan blinked. "You serious?" "I took Chem 105. That's ether." Michelle glanced toward the closed hatch. "Wait, so this whole place is a drug lab?" Tiffany nodded slowly. "A meth lab, no doubt." David stepped forward. "Well, if he's on a crash from that crap, he could be out cold for 2 or 3 days. That's our window." Michelle frowned. "But how are we supposed to rescue those people without waking him up? And if he does wake up?" "We'll be trapped in there with him," Tiffany finished. Ryan shook his head. "We're not taking them. There's no way. We need to leave, now." Michelle spun toward him, eyes wide. "What? They begged you, and you're just gonna leave them there?" David raised his hand. "Wait, what if we just get out and call the cops? Bring help back." Ryan pointed at him. "Exactly. We're not trained for this. We're barely surviving ourselves." Michelle looked like she might cry. "It's still wrong." "Then we booby trap our way out," Ryan said. "We disable every trap we can, mark the safe path, and go. Fast." Tiffany sighed. "Even if we get back to the main room, that hole's like 15 feet high. We fell down from the front entrance." David snapped his fingers. "We work our way up. There has to be stairs somewhere. Backtrack through the mansion like we're rewinding the fall." Everyone nodded. Plan locked. The corridors twisted in ways they hadn't noticed before. The lighting flickered less now, power draining or something else. They began their retreat. Bones hurled at every door. Gas traps burst in green and yellow clouds. Some fizzled, some smoked, some just clicked harmlessly. And then, David stepped forward. A door they'd already tested. A bone had bounced off it earlier. No sound, no spray. Safe, but it wasn't. The second he crossed its frame, a plume of hissing white gas burst into his face. "Ah!" he screamed, stumbling back, slapping his arms, slamming into the wall. His skin began to bubble, blister, crack, pale smoke poured off his flesh, not the gas, but him. Steam, vapor, the smell of boiling fat and acid-washed organs. "Get him out," Michelle screamed, grabbing his shoulder. He shrieked and she recoiled, her palms scalded just from touching his skin. David dropped to the ground, convulsing. Oh God, Tiffany whispered, frozen. "Kill me." David rasped, his voice was shredded, barely human. "Please Please, it hurts so bad. Ryan's mouth hung open. And then he remembered the people in the lab, the scarred ones. Burnt, melted, but not dead, just preserved in pain. Michelle fell to her knees beside David, ignoring the heat radiating from his ruined body. She placed her hand softly on his chest, wincing. He breathed his last breath. A tremor, then stillness. Tiffany leaned down and closed his eyes, tears finally escaping her eyes. Ryan turned away, fists clenched. This place wants to make monsters. Michelle wiped her face. It already had. Chapter 4, The Hatch. No one speaks now. There are no more plans, just bones and doors. They throw femurs like grenades, door after door. The hallway is a gauntlet of gas and death. They see the stairs, they run. Tiffany reaches first. White fog, screaming, silence. Tiffany drops like a mannequin, limbs twisted. Still, they don't stop. Another door, another bone, another hiss. Michelle follows, another trap. A scream cuts through the fog, short, strangled. Ryan sees the burst just in time. The gas brushes his arm, his skin sizzles, his sleeve melts. He doesn't even look at Michelle, just keeps throwing bones. Bone, door, gas, bone, door, gas. Finally he stops, breathing hard. Fuck this, chair leg in hand, and marches. The secret hatch opens with a bang. Ryan storms into the lab like death in a hoodie. The cook is already waiting. No words, no reaction, just a bag of meth, tossed casually onto a glowing hot plate. The room ignites in shimmering crystal vapor. Ryan stumbles. His lungs fill with the meth cloud, but it doesn't burn. It makes him float. His thoughts stretch. His muscles tighten. His skin tingles like lightning is crawling beneath it. He feels powerful, like he can run through walls. So he runs. Behind him, the cook reaches for a lever. Clunk. Somewhere deep inside the walls, a sound like a dozen bank vaults opening. Then a sound worse than anything human. Crawling, the sound of a million spider legs. Brown recluses. They pour from beneath the doorways like a living flood, glistening, swarming, twitching. Ryan runs, faster than he's ever run in his life. He doesn't know if it's the meth, the fear, or both. He sees the hole, the one they fell through, but it's too high, or it was. Now his muscles fire like steel pistons. He jumps, runs up the wall, kicking footholds into crumbling wallpaper. He reaches the ledge. A stream of acid arcs through the air, fired from a hose wielded by the cook. It hits. Ryan's gut splits open. A boiling splash of acid tears his stomach apart. His intestines spill like coiled snakes. He doesn't scream, he just climbs. Guts hanging, legs bleeding, vision swimming. He hauls himself up into the light and disappears into the night. Back below, the cook doesn't chase. He turns, calm, mechanical, climbs onto a steel gurney, reaches above, presses a button on the wall. The lab shudders. A pulse of light, and the cook is gone.